Izzy Custodio, welcome to TCM. We're very happy that you're here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm absolutely thrilled. Longtime fan of TCM, so this is a huge honor for me.
This is fun for me because I've actually been interviewed by you on your podcast, which
Yes.
is called the Izzy and Murtada Picture Show.
Yes.
You are also the creator of a terrific YouTube channel called Be Kind Rewind.
Yes.
I'm a fan. Ben Mankiewicz is a fan and has even shouted it out on TCM before. How did you get started creating the really well-researched videos that you've put together on Be Kind Rewind?
It started with a love of classic movies. I have always just wanted to share my love of cinema with other people and was really trying to find a way to make people remember these women who I love. And I thought this would be a really good way to get started and tell their stories and hopefully find an audience who would then be willing to learn more about them too.
How long does it take you to put a video together? We should tell people your videos are not only well-researched, they're extensive. They're sometimes 10 minutes long and they're fascinating. What's the process like?
A lot of research. I watch as many movies as I can. If I'm talking about a specific actor, I'll watch everything that's relevant to their work. I'll read biographies. I'll look through old newspapers, old magazines. I'm really just trying to absorb as much information as possible and find common threads that will help me tell a story.
Well, you've chosen a really fascinating film for us to watch tonight, and it's A Foreign Affair from 1948, directed by Billy Wilder, a lesser known, I would argue, Billy Wilder film. It's essentially a love triangle between a US Congresswoman, Jean Arthur, who's visiting post-World War II Berlin, and Army captain, that's John Lund, and then this kind of cabaret torch singer played brilliantly, if I may say so, by Marlene Dietrich. Why was this the film that you wanted to watch tonight?
Well, a couple of reasons. One, like you said, I think it's a lesser seen Billy Wilder film, but also it has a lot to do with my personal story. When I decided to start my channel, I was actually living in Berlin. And one of the ways that I decided to get to know the city was by learning about its cinema. And so I visited the film museum there. I became obsessed with Marlene Dietrich, and this was one of the films that I just absolutely loved. I loved history, and this has a lot to do with the history of Berlin and World War II history, so I just fell in love with this film, and especially her performance. And I just always want more people to see it.
It's not only a really interesting love triangle story, I mean, that's really distilling it down to in an unfair way, but it's also this great time capsule of post-war Berlin. And there's so many shots and sequences of this bombed out city in the mid-1940s. It's just fascinating to watch. Is that part of the appeal to you?
Yeah, because when I was living there, I was walking around these same streets that are pictured in the film, and it's just a complete transformation, of course. And so it really speaks to the destruction of that time, but also how people were just trying to start life again. And you see that kind of irony, the sadness, but also the joy of hopefully a new beginning in this film.
Yeah. After we watch the movie, we'll talk even more about this, but it is fascinating to see the difference between the two leading ladies in this film, the Jean Arthur character and the Marlene Dietrich character. And it's so much fun to see Marlene Dietrich play this torch singer because she was a cabaret singer in her actual life, right? So the scenes have such a great authenticity to. There's 3 terrific numbers written by Frederick Hollander. For me, that's the highlight of the film. Do you agree?
For sure. I mean, that first number where she comes out in that glittering dress, just absolutely captivating, taking cigarettes from people, passing them on, rubbing a soldier's hair. I mean, she's absolutely seducing the audience. And funnily enough, in that dress that she wore on the USO tours to entertain the troops. So these are authentic in more ways than one.
Yeah. Obviously, Jean Arthur is a favorite of many people who watch TCM, because of You Can't Take It With You or the films that she did earlier in her career. This, interestingly, is the second to last film that she ever made. I think Shane was the only movie that she made after this. What do you find interesting about what she brings to this film?
I just think she's a comic genius, especially the two of them, as you said, playing off one another, the kind of rigid woman who's learning to open herself up to the world and this very world-weary woman who's trying to make her aware of all of the things you might be forced to do when things aren't perfect in your life. It's a fascinating interaction. I love it.
Okay, a couple things. The introduction to the Marlene Dietrich character, I could not believe that we see her with like mussed up hair and toothpaste all over her mouth.
know.
I'm almost shocked that she was willing to be seen like that.
I know, yeah. It is shocking. But she gets to be glamorous elsewhere, so
She does, right.
probably fine.
There's also one shot that I really took notice of, which was when the Jean Arthur character and the Marlene Dietrich character are standing at the police station and there's that close-up of the two of them in the shot. That's when you really appreciate the difference in so many ways between them. You know, this kind of comedic American look of Jean Arthur and then this very exotic, if you will, European look of Marlene Dietrich. And to see them together vying for the same guy, if you will, is just so fascinating.
It's so fascinating. And even I love that close-up because there are so many little decisions that the two of them make that I think really enhance the performance. You can see Marlene Dietrich slightly bite her passport, which is such a strange but enchanting choice. And I love that, just seeing the two of them together. This is also two women in their late 40s who are leading a romantic comedy in the 1940s, which is, I think, quite rare for that time. So it's
Right.
nice to see the two of them, you know, holding down the fort with romantic comedies.
Are you, in general, a Billy Wilder fan? Do you have other Billy Wilder favorites?
I love Billy Wilder. I love Ace in the Hole, and all the classics, of course. The Apartment, Double Indemnity. I don't think you can go wrong with Billy Wilder, really.
Yeah. I want to tell you on camera what I've said to you before, which is that when I was writing my book, 50 Oscar Nights, your channel, Be Kind Rewind, was so helpful to me, specifically the videos that you have on Lee Grant and Rita Moreno and Sally Field and Sissy Spacek. It was just so helpful as I was doing my research to get ready to talk to these Oscar winners. So thank you.
Thank you.
Of course. And I'd be curious to know, do you have favorite videos that you've posted? I mean, some are about the Oscars, some
Yeah.
are not. What are some favorites that you would encourage people to check out?
A few months ago, I put out a video about Shelley Duvall. She recently passed, and it was a really nice opportunity to take a look at her work. And that one specifically focuses on her work with Robert Altman.
You and I both love the Oscars. This film we just watched got 2 nominations for screenplay and cinematography. Interestingly, Jean Arthur, though, she had 1 nomination for The More the Merrier. But overall, by and large, she was not someone who was recognized that often by the Academy. Why do you think that is? Is it because she was comedic?
That's always been my suspicion, that comedians fared less well with the Academy at that time, for sure. I mean, I think about this with Carol Lombard as well, someone who, if it were up to me, would have an Oscar, but unfortunately didn't win one during her time. So same with Marlene Dietrich, I think also just 1 nomination.
Yeah. Well, Izzy, I thank you for being here and I congratulate you on all the great work you're doing. Keep it up.
Thank you.